Welcome back to the Court Stormers YouTube channel. This is your daily best bet video for Saturday, November 27, 2021. Yesterday was a fairly epic day in college basketball. In the morning window, Baylor defeated Michigan State 75-58 to win the battle for Atlantis. The Bears hounded Michigan State as they were able to force 19 turnovers in their victory. We really haven't heard much out of the Bears before this week, but they look like they are a very real team and could just be there at the end again this year. In the afternoon window, we had the shock of the season thus far. Dayton wins at the buzzer over Kansas 74-73. Dayton was able to overcome a 15-point first half deficit. Dayton held a 68-61 lead with about 7 minutes to go. However, they lost the lead. Kansas ended up going ahead by 3 with a minute to go. Dayton was then able to get a layup, and then they were able to get a stop, which allowed them to hold for the last shot. Malachi Smith's layup was blocked by David McCormick with 5 seconds to go. However, the ball fell into Mustafa Amzil's arms, and he was able to hit a running floater that bounced up off the rim and in for the Flyers to pull off the upset. This is a Dayton team that has already lost home games to UMass Lowell, Austin Peay, and Lipscomb. The whole ESPN Events Invitational has been thrown for a loop in Orlando. The championship game is going to be Dayton versus Belmont. Before the tournament started, we were expecting a Kansas and Alabama matchup on Sunday afternoon. However, we won't even get that in the consolation side. So, a little disappointing, but it's fun to see these mid-majors have a huge impact. In the night window, number 5 Duke was able to upset number 1 Gonzaga 84-81. In the first half, the Blue Devils were powered by an inspiring performance by Paolo Banchero. He had 20 points in the half. In the second half, he was hampered with cramping, so he was not at 100%. However, Wendell Moore and Mark Williams really came up huge in this game. Also, Trevor Keels on defense did a phenomenal job. Gonzaga did not really play well in this game. They were inhibited with foul trouble in the first half. Holmgren picked up 2 inside the first 10 minutes. So did Anton Watson. Drew Timme also had 2 in the first half, and he also picked up his 3rd foul 30 seconds into the second half. The Zags struggled holding onto the ball. They had 17 turnovers to Duke's 8. Considering the foul trouble and Gonzaga's turnovers, it's pretty impressive that they only lost this game by 3. They're still a very good team that is going to be in the mix in March. Absolutely. No questions. For Duke, we can see if this will be a stepping stone. They have a tough game at Ohio State on Tuesday, and we'll see if they can look to continue their momentum. Recapping our best bet from last night, we had Memphis minus 11.5, and oh boy, was that a terrible pick. Memphis was incredibly sloppy on offense. Tigers had 22 turnovers and turned it over on 30% of their offensive possessions. It's impossible to win when you do that, pretty much. Of course, these turnovers just led to easy buckets for Iowa State, and the game was never in doubt. Iowa State won 78-59, and it's one of the worst offensive performances I've seen from a team. Memphis is really going to have to figure out the point guard issues because they have Tyler Harris, they have Alex Lomax, but they're trying to play Amani Bates at point guard, and none of the 3 of them are good enough. They're going to have to get way better or try somebody else because this offense is an absolute wreck. This performance was so bad that Memphis dropped from number 11 to number 27 on KenPom. For our best bet today, we are taking the Marshall Thundering Herd plus 12.5 at Indiana. Marshall is a team that was projected to win Conference USA before the season started. Currently, the Herd are 4-1, and this game against Indiana is definitely their biggest test today. Marshall is not your typical mid-major team. They're actually one of the bigger teams in the country. They're the 20th biggest team in the country. They have bigs that they can help to try to contain Trace Jackson Davis inside. And they're going to match up well with Indiana on the wings as well, with Tavion Kinsey, who is the Conference Player of the Year in Conference USA. Marshall is the team that is absolutely due for some positive shooting regression. Currently for the season, they're shooting 24% from 3. They have 2 guys from last year's team that are back on this year's team that shot over 40% last year. So far this year, Tavion Kinsey hasn't even hit a 3, and Andrew Taylor is only hitting 17% of his 3s. These numbers are not going to last, and Marshall is going to find their groove offensively. Marshall got good signs out of their offense on Tuesday night as they put up 93 against the Louisiana team. Marshall is coached by Dan D'Antoni, who of course is Mike D'Antoni's brother, so the Thundering Herd play at a blistering pace. They're the number 2 team in pace in the country on offense, so I expect them to try to rush down the floor to beat Indiana's defense back. Indiana's defense currently ranks number 7 on KenPom, but some of that can be attributed to their 3-point luck against them. Teams are only shooting 25% from 3 against them, and that number is just not sustainable. Also, Indiana has the number 1 2-point defense, but a lot of it is just because of their competition. They put Jackson State and Louisiana and Eastern Michigan, and those teams just can't handle Indiana's size. Marshall can match up well with them offensively and defensively. So this should be more of a fair fight. 12.5 points is just a lot here, especially when you add in that Indiana has a new coach in Mike Woodson, and they're still trying to figure out their rotation. So far, the Hoosiers have gotten 41% of their game minutes from their bench, mainly because they've been up so much in games. They've played one competitive game against St. John's, and that's it. So look for the Hoosiers to still be trying to figure out rotations and lineups in this. With Indiana tweaking and a possible look ahead to Syracuse during the week for the ACC Big Ten Challenge and their first conference game next weekend, I think 12.5 points is a lot of value here with the Thundering Herd, so we are rolling with them as our best bet. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like and subscribe.